Fuck, I forgot to put shit on Instagram.
Do it now.
I'll do it after. I'm not too worried about it. We'll do a post picture or something.
Alright, we're live.
We're live. This is the long trip. This is our, fifth episode.
Today will be our 5th episode.
Today will be our
month and a week.
We're moving along with this stuff. We still obviously, or I guess you don't know yet, but we haven't got our camera. We're still working on getting another camera. We get doing little things here, trying to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys. So Christian, how was this fast with me? Let me hear your side of how the fast was. Let's go day by day for you. Mine were very similar, but
Well, we'll just start with we want to do a week fast, but that didn't happen because of reasons we'll explain. It only lasted for 3 days, which was basically the core part of it anyways. So the first day I felt prety fine. I didn't it's also all documented on my Twitter. You can check that out. It's in the link or description below. Every day I was fasting. But the first day, it was fine. I was just hungry, just craving a lot. Didn't have any mood swings, wasn't agitated or anything. So the first day went fine, went by pretty fine. But the second day, it wasn't that bad either. But I definitely started to feel it. I started to feel more exhausted, weak.
the second day,
Yeah, I was definitely craving everything. Just wanted to eat everything, but I kept telling myself not to. And so I didn't. That day I started to see mood swings. I was getting agitated. I played Fortnite, and that only just fucking made it worse. And then I played that for hours, just fucking being pissed off.
yeah.
But I finally eventually got a win. I was like, I gotta stop it there. I gotta leave on like a good note.
Yeah.
Because if I keep playing, I'm just gonna get more pissed off.
Yeah.
But the second day wasn't that bad, but I definitely started to feel it. But the third day, it was the worst. I woke up, I felt nauseated. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I just gotta get myself going. And all I did. I just got up, got ready, went to work, and just did my work. I did studying for my exams, did work actually at work, but I was definitely feeling it. I just didn't want to do anything. I would even longboarded half-ass all the way to work because I longboard back and forth every day because it's just right there. I'm not gonna waste gas, but I just felt weak just boarding, and I didn't want to exert myself too much because I felt like if I exerted myself too hard, I didn't want to pass out or some shit like that on a longboard especially.
Yeah.
And then I was craving everything. My cravings kind of started to shift a little bit to not like junk food to more healthy food because when you after so long you get back into ketosis, you crave differently, or at least I do. So I started craving vegetables, and it was mainly like steak and meats and stuff I was craving. But sugar and carbs didn't sound that good to me, but some sounded really good. And the third day I was just exhausted. That whole day I just went through periods of feeling good and then getting nauseated again, and then it was just constant back and forth. And I eventually had to get some electrolyte water. That helped somewhat for a while, but then later on in the night, because I didn't eat or continue to drink electrolyte water, it just kind of went back to the way it was. I started playing Fortnite that day too. I played one game and I got off because I was like, because if I was going to keep playing, I was going to break something.
Yeah.
I was, mood swings were on another level that day.
Gonna get pissed, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was so agitated at every little thing. That might have been the same. I don't know if it was that day or the day right after when I was longboarding to work, and this dude cut me off because he was at a stop sign, and I was like on this little crosswalk. I was just about to go,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I have the right of way. He stopped. I'm a pedestrian. I can just go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he decided to go, and so I jumped off, and I had to throw my board, and I jumped backwards so I didn't fucking get hit. And
Yeah.
I flipped him off and shit, and he just goes like this.
That was.
I'm just like, you're just stupid, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you acting stupid as hell.
Mm.
I was pissed off. Wasn't a good day, but the fourth day is the day we broke the fast because we had taekwondo classes that day, and if we told ourselves like we can't go to taekwondo classes feeling like this and then possibly pass out because of things you'll explain when your experiences. And so I was like, if I feel worse or even the same nearly, I'm just gonna start eating again, but eat healthy, change my diet, which I did.
Yeah.
And I felt amazing after I started eating. My stomach was like still a little nauseated because I didn't eat for 3 days, and I just started eating again. And so it was just like felt weird, but I felt great besides that.
Yeah.
And we went through that, but sadly we had to break it. But I mean, we got through the core part of it, the cravings and stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah. We got the beneficial days through.
they
The
were
other days are
bitch,
just
though.
like, so out of the 7 days, like the first 3 to 4 are definitely the hardest because you're going through cravings and your body's still demanding food and everything. And then after that, on those days after, your body just kind of accepts that you're not giving it food. It just starts really relaxing. You get more energy. But like, well, with my fast, my fast was pretty similar to Christian's. Obviously, we did the same shit. So we didn't eat a single bite of nothing, not even a piece of gum.
The only thing I took in was I drank green tea. I drank herbal teas with
Yeah.
no additives, just herbal. And it was mainly just green tea. And then I had water, and then I had the electrolyte water. But I made sure it didn't have any, like, artificial additives or sugars
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that. It was just electrolytes, natural electrolytes, and water
Yeah.
with natural flavoring, such as,
Yeah,
like, a lime or something.
The only other thing I took in was 1 bottle of Propel electrolyte water. And that was on the 3rd day, and that was a game changer. That made me feel a million times better. So, like, on my first day, I was just kind of hungry, which me and Christian are both wrestlers from high school, and, you know, we're used to cutting weight and not eating for a day or 2, you know, so that was no big deal. I've not ate for days before. It's fine. Wasn't really hungry. It felt great, really. Second day, I was starting to get a little hungry, but I was just, every time I was getting hungry, I would just start chugging water because that was the only thing I took in was just water. And I got through the second day. The third day was the shittiest. Well, besides the fourth, but that we decided
The
to
fourth
break
day
it.
was worse, but like I like once I woke up and felt this, I was like, I gotta start eating.
Yeah, the fourth was so
Yeah.
bad that we were like, we're not going through a whole nother day of this shit again. It was worse than the third.
I would have if we didn't have taekwondo. But
Yeah.
we had
But,
that, and I
it-
wasn't gonna pass out.
The
or some
third day
shit.
was so bad that I was at work working the floor and everything, and I was getting lightheaded, and I went through like a couple moments of where I was getting so lightheaded I almost passed out and went down. I'd have to stop and take like a few minutes and just try and breathe by a fan or something so I wouldn't pass out because I was just so weak. I felt just weak as could be. I felt like shit. And then so I got through the work day, you know, it was like, all right, we're just going to see how the fourth day feels because we had, like I say, the taekwondo classes that we're doing. And was like, you know, we can't go to taekwondo if I can't even do my day-to-day job that, I mean, really isn't all that a physical of a job. Like, yeah, I was working the floor that day, but, like, I was like, damn, I can't even work this simple job, you know, pulling, not really doing any sort of physical work that crazy. It was just hot, and I almost passed out. But on the fourth day, as soon as I woke up, I got out of bed, and I passed out. I passed out back onto my bed and woke back up and was like a few seconds after and was like, this shit is fucking bad. And I was like, it's going to be a bad day again today. I just drank some water as soon as I woke up. I was just trying to get through it. I was like, it's going to be bad. And I was texting Christian. I was like, "How do you feel, man?" I feel like shit because we're both on the edge of not doing it that day. And then he texted me, said he felt just as bad. So we're like, all right, we're gonna eat something. And but at this point, I really wasn't all that hungry. I just felt so weak and out of energy, and
I just knew I needed
like Christian said, so irritable. I was pissed off all day, like about anything. I'd be like, that's a speck of dirt over there. What the fuck is that speck doing? I'd just be pissed at everything.
And you drive a truck, too.
Yeah, plus I drive every day, having
annoying.
to deal with retarded drivers every day. And then when you're not eating for 4 days or 3 days, and it's just like, this is enough of this. It just was too much to try and do, I think. And we got a little over our head on how long we were going to do it. But
well, I feel like I could have done it if there wasn't like Taekwondo. Like I would have pushed myself to do it. But
yeah,
at the 5th day it was even worse. I don't know because then I feel like it should be getting better by then.
Yeah, it was the 4th day was bad. Like Christian said, the 3rd day I kind of went from having some decent energy, and then I'd go through spurts through the day. I just feel like shit, like just exhausted. I'd climb down out of my truck and just be like sweating, just like, God, I just felt like shit. Any sudden movement, I was getting lightheaded. Like it, the best way to describe it is like anyone who's ever
Jewel.
Huh?
Let me see your Jewel.
And yours is right there, fuck.
It doesn't have anything in
Oh
it.
yeah. But the best way to describe it is like anyone who's ever donated blood or plasma, like you don't really feel super weak right when when you do it, but the moment you start getting your heart pumping a little bit and doing something physical, you're like, oh fuck, and your eyes start getting black a little bit, and you think you're gonna pass out. You might if you keep it up. That's exactly what it was like. And it just felt like shit. And so when we ate, like Christian said, I ate and I felt a little nauseated. Had some explosive shits, that's for sure. There were some pretty violent shits. It was nothing to mess around with.
It was only my first one. That first meal.
Yeah,
I had
the first meal,
day,
it was like
it just was like just one explosion.
It was horrible.
And it was over.
It was horrible.
It burned. It was hot.
It was vicious.
Oh yeah.
But then, like you said, after that, I didn't really have any
for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I felt great afterwards. I drank a Gatorade that day, like one of the 0-calorie Gatorades. Oh my God, the electrolytes was a game changer because that's really what I needed.
Yeah.
And I just immediately felt 10 times better. I mean, obviously, like, well, yeah, that's what we needed was food and nutrients.
Yes.
So of course we're gonna feel better. So that's kind of our update on that. Like, we didn't really get the 7 days out, but we got 3 days, and that's the Craving Crusher days, the days that that your body. The reason we felt like shit is because we're going through withdrawals of sugars, of the carbs, of all of that. We're going through withdrawals because sugar's more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah.
It's a super addictive drug, and so we were feeling like shit just because of all that. And like I said, we got through all of that stuff and kind of cleansed our bodies from that. So like, yeah, we only did the 3 days, but we still got what we wanted out of it. Wasn't a waste, and I feel great. I mean, I feel a little shit today, but
because we had Memorial Day yesterday, we had some carbs like hamburger, deer burgers with buns and shit. Like we had chips, but it was Memorial Day. I mean, I can give a day or whatever, but I mean, and then it's just back to the grind. You gotta eat healthy.
Back to the grind, and so we're still eating healthy. We're still on our diets, and we're still eating right. It's just we got through the fast, not the outcomes that we wanted, but like I said, after that 4th day when I woke up and passed out immediately, I was like, there's no fucking way I can do Taekwondo right now. I'll go to throw a kick and just pass out or something, or get a sweat build up and die. I don't know.
And I'm sure we'll do the fast sometime again. I kind of want to start doing it maybe like annually, twice, like every 6 months, maybe like at the end of the school year, and then like the week before or something like that.
You really got to do it on like a week that you don't got nothing else going on, and you have no stress, no external stress factors coming in. Because if you start getting stressed out about stuff with it while you're
just get
doing it,
agitated,
you're just
pissed
not gonna
off.
make it. Like you really have to be in the right state of mind, the state of time. It just all has to be perfect to get it done. And I mean, it's doable. I've done it, and it's just
I've not fasted for a week, but I've fasted for days before.
yeah.
I don't think I fasted for more than maybe 5.
It's like I said, like after the third to fourth day, you just feel a lot better because you're not going through the withdrawals. Your body just expelled all of it, and you feel great. You feel like you're a whole new person.
And I still fast every day though. I do intermittent fasting, which is like
Which is so good for you.
I'll fast for like the 8 hours I sleep, and then like the 8 hours I work in the morning, 8 to 4, and then after I get off work at 4, I'll eat something, like a wrap with a bunch of vegetables and nice meats, and I'll maybe have like a banana and apples later or something like that. And I just still eat healthy. I'm not, and even once you're like on a diet like that, you're not really taking any carbs. You don't even really feel that hungry a lot or that often.
No.
And your stomach just shrinks. And
So
humans weren't supposed to eat every day anyways. We evolved not to have food ready for us because we were supposed to hunt and gather.
yeah.
So intermittent fasting technically is normal. Actually, fasting a day or two is normal. Between meals.
Fasting a week at a time is normal.
Your body is supposed to be able to handle that and stuff, but because of the way we eat nowadays with all the carbs, our bodies are ran off the wrong things, running off processed sugars and carbs that are actually deteriorating our body and stuff, and they're not helping us, and that's why we have heart disease and cancer and diabetes and a bunch of other health defects just because of the way we eat. Like you said, it is just as like addictive as like heroin and stuff. I guess obviously the withdrawals would be a lot easier to get away from and stuff.
Oh,
but
I mean, look at it.
It still kills people thousands and millions of people every year from all these diseases just because of the way they eat. And so it might be not short-term health, such as like heroin would be more short-term, like effects from
the withdrawals from heroin and cocaine can kill you. Just the withdrawals can kill you. The withdrawals from sugars and carbs, it isn't going to kill you. We did 2 days of the withdrawals that were hard. We're still here. They're not going to kill you. It just sucks.
The effects of eating like bad shit every day and stuff are more long term, and especially if you're like genetically more prone to get things, and it might even be shorter than that. You can get cancer easily or diabetes easily, especially if it like runs in the family or something.
Yeah, some cancers are genetic, yeah.
And so just by you're just detrimenting yourself eating that shitty stuff, you're killing yourself slowly. Even more and more every day you eat it.
So let's get into our topics for the day. We're trying to do some...
Wait, we gotta talk about our weeks.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was my week.
Well, I had a different week.
All right,
let's hear. Same week, but I did some other things. So I learned today. I did my driver's safety program shit I had to do that I guess was a reason why my license was suspended when I was never told about it. So I did that. It's supposed to take like 4 hours. Took me like 6 to 7 hours to do it because you got to wait on each page for like a certain amount of time. And then you click next to go to this next page, and you have to wait there for a certain amount of time. And then you have to go to the next page. Even if you finish reading it, you have to sit there and wait until all the time goes down. And so basically, I just sat there and watched YouTube videos, just clicking next every time it was over until I got to the quizzes, the final exam, which were just, simple, straightforward for the most part. There were some things about statistical things for deaths and fatalities and stuff that I had to look up. But, it was easy stuff. And so I got that. So I got 4 points off my record or whatever, and my license says it's valid again, but I haven't seen the suspension driving with the suspended license thing on there yet. I don't know if he forgot to turn it in or what, but that's not on there, and I haven't gotten the points for that, and it's been like at least a couple weeks, probably 3 weeks. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'll probably call them here soon again, make sure if I had to pay anything, I'd need to make sure I pay it.
You gotta get it scored away.
But what else did I do? Well, during the fast, though, I was very, 'cause I stopped smoking, like, weed and stuff, and then, like, everything else, all I did was consume water, herbal teas, and
Yeah,
then
same.
electrolyte water.
Same.
But I felt I was very motivated in doing stuff. I was,
Yeah, you had to keep your mind off of
well,
starving.
that too, but just, like, I don't know what it was. I just had, like, the motivation to do things, and especially, like, after breaking the fast and eating, I was just so much happier, more motivated. I was getting shit done more than usual, and so that's why especially like when people feel like shit or who aren't motivated, just lazy pieces of shit all the time. I was like, I'm telling you, if you ate better, you'd feel a whole different vibe. You'd be getting shit done.
You
You
feel
feel
great.
motivated. You feel great. You feel unstoppable.
your
You
body's
just feel
getting the
so
right
good.
shit. The
Yeah.
reason you feel like shit and sleepy all the time is because of the sugars.
Because you eat
everyone's taking
fucking
in.
macaroni and cheese and some cookies.
Yeah.
And you're just basically, your body has to kill itself to make that as a viable source, but you're killing yourself, so
Yeah.
you're just hurting yourself with
Yeah. Exactly.
this stuff that's not supposed to be in your body. Alright, now let's move on.
Yeah. Let's move on now. So let's get on to the topics that we got going on. We're gonna talk about like some shit that's going on today, right now. And Christian's got quite a few things. What do you want? Do you want me to go first on the few topics that I got? You got more than I do. I don't care.
I found this new movie coming out called Upgrade. I actually just watched my first like trailer of it today, and it's actually kind of crazy movie. It looks good as fuck. But here, I'll play the trailer.
Am I the only one that says upamize? Like if I were to say upamize it, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't say it like that.
Maybe I am.
Someone who liked to get things done with their hands.
Here's the thing. 4 guys murdered my wife. If I could find those men, I'd do it.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? I call it STEM, a computer chip that has the potential to change everything. It's a new, better brain.
I am STEM, the system operating your body for you.
What the
Can
fuck?
anybody else hear you?
No, only you. May I point something out? In the drone surveillance footage, Sir Brantner, Marine Corps, address 414 Citrus, New Crown. You'll need a plan.
I got this.
This doesn't seem like a well thought out plan. I need your permission to operate independently.
Permission granted!
Thank you.
What?
Keep watching, bro.
Stay down, man. Stanley's got a knife!
I see that. We have a knife too.
We have now we have a knife too.
You now have full control again, Gray.
He fucking killed him.
That wasn't even the one I watched. I watched a different
Well, I
one.
was in the area, detective.
There's a gun implanted inside his hand.
Yep. That was the main
Stanley,
part.
what do you think I should do? Move, Gray.
He shot a gun out of his arm?
Yep, loaded it right.
You are persistent.
I cannot allow us to be killed.
Oh.
We're going to finish the job we started.
Does that look badass as fuck?
That
though?
does look pretty badass.
Oh my.
That was my first time watching this shit too. What the hell is?
The other
So
one.
it's a computer chip that just
they
basically
put in like your stem of your brain or something. It looked like right where it connects to your spinal cord.
yeah, and it
it's-
just like it connects with your brain and shit. That's pretty cool.
connects with your brain and your nervous system. That's why it allows him to walk. It basically operates his body.
That
And,
shit's
he operates it manually, but it allows him to. And then whenever he says, gives him permission or whatever, then he's like, or access granted or some whatever, and then he just takes control and just effortlessly whoops everyone's ass.
Yeah,
And you saw his face. He was like, "What the fuck?" As he's doing all
Yeah.
this shit. I like the part where he was like, "You see, he's got a knife." Yes, I see that. Now we got a knife. It just fucks him up. That movie is gonna be awesome as fuck, though. I
Yeah,
cannot
that will
wait.
be pretty cool. That's just gonna be coming out. Like that's the future.
Augmentation. Right now, we're in the information area. They say the next era of humans is gonna be augmentation, connecting our bodies to technology.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's
which we
just gonna-
already are testing and doing that ourselves, but when it fully becomes like the augmentation area, it becomes more like how do you put it, accessible to everyone. Everyone's doing it in some form. It's accessible to the public and
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, that's gonna come out where we're
Eventually
all
one day.
connected, like through the internet or like through something like that. We're all connected. We can think shit, and then you can hear what I'm thinking or whatever. Like that's just gonna be real.
I think it's something I definitely do, but I don't want to be the first ones to do it. I wanted to get all the the
I don't
prototypes and shit out of the way. It depends on what it is.
I don't know. Like
I don't
if
know, it
someone
just
came up to me and like I'd have to be in that guy's shoes, like
Yeah,
where
like-
he's like I'm crippled and
You
you're
have no
telling me I
other
can walk
choice.
again. Like
yeah.
just because I'm like it's a computer system. If somebody hacks me, like hacks my shit, and
Mhm.
then I just run around and do whatever the hell that guy wants me to do. Like I don't want that. But
Yeah, that
it'd be
makes sense.
pretty cool to be like, all right, I give you permission to make me a badass for 10 minutes. And then you're just doing crazy shit for 10 minutes. That'd be pretty cool.
There will be, especially in an age like that, there will be ways to secure everything.
Yeah,
Just with
yeah.
the new technologies that are coming
When-
out, everything's just more accessible and easier to implement.
When
Security
the-
tools.
When that kind of shit comes out, the demand for secure networks and provenly secure shit like that will come out with it. You know, like they're gonna come out one with the other. Like they have to.
Yeah,
Otherwise, no
because
one's gonna get
security
it.
is the biggest issue because obviously no one's gonna buy a product if it's not secure. 'cause they're
Exactly,
people are
like, it's
fuck with
gonna-
me. So
They're gonna be like, okay, we created something that can do this. How do we secure it? It's gonna come out together.
yeah,
or,
it
I
has-
mean,
it's
shortly
already being
after.
thought of too, and I'm sure they're already working on it. Because I've watched many different videos. There was this National Geographic, I think it was on the YouTube channel. They did these documentaries it was like hour and a half long. They were amazing. I'd watch them again sometime. I should have to find them, but just all this crazy technology they're doing. Like they were giving people testing out this wireless visual system. People who are blind, they connect it to the brain receptors or the stem or whatever, and connects it to your eye. And there's this wireless transmitter. So whatever your eye sees, it sends it wirelessly to the other one to your brain, and so therefore you can see again.
Damn.
Yeah, it was on one of those documentaries, and there's other shit too, like connecting robot legs and stuff, and then connecting shit to their brain. So whenever they think to move their legs, they can move their legs. The robot would do kind of like that way, but not a chip.
Yeah.
It's an actual exterior robot, little
Damn.
leg thing. And so whenever they would normally think how to move, the robot would move. Obviously, it takes time and practice to create those neurotransmitters and those pathways to be able to do stuff like that.
Take some psilocybin.
But it can happen, LSD. But it can happen because I watched them. I watched the documentaries where they did it.
Yeah.
So it's some pretty neat
It's
stuff.
coming out. It's the future. Like
It is.
the near future. 20 years. 20 years. This shit is gonna be coming out. 20 years is really nothing. Like goddamn.
Well, they say I don't remember what the concept is called, but they say after every new era, the speed in which we go into a new area gets cut in half. So as humans, the way we evolved into different areas, we had the hunter and gathering stage, then we
Yeah.
had the agricultural stage or era, the industrial era, and then now we're in the information area, which will be the next one will be augmentation. But if you look at them, we were hunters and gatherers. Well, technically, I could say millions of years because they found some fossil dates of people who lived millions of years ago through carbon dating and stuff. So I can
True.
say millions of years, but once we passed to agricultural, that was only thousands of years, and then we got to industrial revolution or whatever. That was
Yeah.
only a few centuries. Now we're in the information era, and that was like starting in like the 90s or something like that. And look how far we've progressed.
Yeah.
Like just 100 years ago, we wouldn't have thought like what we have nowadays. It was not in our mind because we just didn't know this stuff is possible. And to just wait till like that was only 100 years ago, especially with the technology we have now. Just like 20 years from now is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be nuts, and it's gonna be awesome and cool though.
Yeah, for sure. But you know,
But
the
I mean,
only
there's
the
plenty
only
of
way
ways
you
that
can
go
advance
wrong.
like that is, you know, say nothing sets us back. You know.
In which we can through like an apocalypse, a meteor hits us, or like nuclear warfare.
You know,
We
something
could get set us
or a
back.
natural
But
disaster.
as long as like stuff like that, I mean, doesn't really happen, or ones that aren't like too big to really set us back like that. That's just the way it goes, and through the pattern, I'm just thinking about and looking at how long the different eras lasted. They just continuously just get shorter and shorter, really quick.
yeah.
Because it was millions of years to thousands of years to a few centuries to just decades now.
Well, I mean, really, if you look at it, what it was is connecting minds. Like that's
Faster information process, faster
Exactly,
information, exchange of information.
that's what
Everyone's-
changed everything. You know,
Everyone's
we had
talking
the
instantly.
telegram that was right off the bat. Then we slowly could pass information quicker and quicker and quicker. And now we got the internet where it's seconds, not even.
And to be honest, it's only getting faster and faster too. Because a decade ago, we only had like 10 megabit speed, which is only 10 bits per second, and then 10 megabits like 10,000 bits per second. But then now we have like gigabyte Ethernet, which is like we're having like 40 gigs, which is like you would convert that to be like 40 million bits per second.
Yeah.
And that's just a decade. And we're only getting faster because now we're really getting into quantum computing, which is like instantaneously speed of light computing. And that's the fastest you can go. So,
Yeah.
and I mean,
And
at that
soon-
point we'll stop. But once we reach that point, we would have unlocked, a whole new set of information, because we have to learn a lot of shit to be able to quantum compute, because we can't even do it efficiently or cost effectively nowadays.
Yeah.
The computers they have quantum computers, but like how we had like back in like the 1950s, and like what sent Apollo to the moon was just like megabytes of memory,
massive.
and they were
computers.
massive computers. That's what like the quantum computers are now, but eventually in just decades, they'll be in a chip this
They'll
big.
be on our fucking phone,
Yeah.
dude. They'll be on
Everything
our phone.
will be instantly, and
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
gonna be
it'll be in the
crazy.
palm of our hand, or in our head, or we'll be
Instant-
thinking
just
of shit, and they'll be going.
instantaneously. we'd be able to communicate that
The
way.
day
and stuff.
that people can read minds through technology is the day that people realize how crazy everyone really is. How much everyone's mind just wanders. I'm just thinking of my mind alone. All the crazy shit I think about all day, and I'll just jump from topic to topic to topic. Like, if
Mhm.
someone could just track all that, I'm like,
I
have
wi-
fun.
I wish I had it connected to everything. I thought it was just kept in like a text file.
I don't. I don't.
Just some only I could read though.
Yeah, something that only I could read, but
And then delete.
yeah, I hope to God there's
Dude,
no
they think,
fucking text file
I
of
think
everything
I'm
I've ever thought.
crazy. I think some crazy things that just jump around to just random shit. My mind just wanders sometimes,
Oh, all the time.
especially getting high and stuff.
Yeah.
So what'd you have to talk about?
I don't remember.
The oil spill.
Yeah, but there was another one. So go to the millennials tab. It's the one right before.
This
Yeah,
one?
that one. What's that? Oh, that ain't fucking anything. I was trying to do some research on. So I was researching the opium epidemic, but I couldn't. I didn't find enough information to get into it on the podcast quite yet.
I know a little bit about the opioid epidemic.
Well, so what I was wanting to look up, like, what we're doing about it right now.
Well,
Like,
I mean, technically not really anything.
Yeah,
because
exactly,
It's the
like-
government's fault why there is, because pharmaceuticals can hand out all these pills and
from what I was researching into it, like basically all we're doing is like small groups of communities are gathering together after several deaths of opium overdoses and trying to push for a government, basically for the government to recognize that they're fucking killing everyone. And that's like about all I got into. Like I wasn't finding super credible sources, and it was just I didn't give myself enough time to dig into that topic just quite yet.
I've digged into it before, and it all ties in with just the government being corrupt and the pharmaceutical companies lobbying politicians, and that's why, I mean, one of the reasons why weed's illegal in a lot of places still, but I mean, it's slowly become legal, and eventually one day it will be, because we have the internet now and people have access to information.
Like everything you ever taught about any drug ever, just throw it out the window and go research the shit for yourself, because you will find.
That's not even just about drugs. That's about anything. Don't ever take anyone's word. Like,
Yeah, just
listen to people.
You have the information for yourself, and you can find it for yourself. So if it's just this crazy drug or something like that, you're like, what the fuck does that do? What's that do to you? Go look it up. Don't listen to what, even your parents said. Your parents were misinformed. Back in that era, everyone was misinformed. They were formed by the media that was corrupt, or the government that was corrupt. And these drugs that are supposedly bad are completely beneficial medically. Now, yes, especially like psychedelics. Yes, psychedelics are something you really shouldn't be fucking around with. They should be regulated, because their health benefits of them are just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You can do all these drugs that have all the health benefits and no defects. None.
There's there's even athletes who microdose LSD.
Yeah.
Geniuses at least microdose LSD every day. People in Silicon Valley, that's why it's a thing in Silicon Valley, because it sparks creativity. It allows your brain to be connected in places where being sober or not on the drug.
So
just
say
doesn't
what
allow you to be.
microdosing is. So microdosing is like,
it's like 50 milligrams or less every day.
It's a tiny bit of LSD, enough to start triggering the active chemical in your brain, enough to start triggering all this stuff. I mean, not necessarily hallucinating. It basically opens your mind up.
Yeah,
and
you get the mental benefits from it, just not the hallucinations.
So what most people do with this microdosing is they microdose with a shrink. It's almost the same sense of hypnotism, because it opens your mind up, kind of like hypnotism does, and you can just talk to a shrink about all the problems that you didn't even know that you had, that you're dealing with every day, that are causing stress, that you're not even really paying attention to, you're ignoring. It's basically just like going to a shrink to get hypnotized is what microdosing in LSD is, when you're doing it with a shrink. I mean, some people microdose and just figure shit out for themselves, but
I would say the majority of people do that.
Yeah, and I would disagree with that. Like I think any form of psychoactive drug should be regulated. The regulation of it just destroys all the bad trips. The regulation and having someone there talking to you, a tether to reality, basically, will stop so many bad trips. So, like, it's basically only giving you the benefits of a psychoactive drug.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be regulated. I'm just saying I know a lot of people don't do it.
Yeah.
Mainly,
I mean,
it's still illegal.
It's still illegal. So how can you get regulation? How can you have a shrink that's just like, here's some LSD, just talk to me while you're on it? Like, you can't find that anywhere right now.
You're right, but I feel like a lot of people who take LSD and know about it and stuff, like, are like good on it. They probably wouldn't go to a shrink anyways. Like when I probably wouldn't. I mean, maybe one day if I'm like in a bad spot in my life, which usually I'm good about handling my own problems and like not suppressing them and like facing them like just on and moving forward and progressing. But not a lot of people think that we're like that, so that's why some people would need a shrink, but someone like me, I've never had a bad trip, and I've always had good experiences.
Yeah, so most people that have a bad trip, or most people that try psychoactive drugs, are trying them because they know, they're like, all right, I wonder what that's like. They're so open-minded and open to whatever the view is that this psychoactive drug will show you. You know, whether it's psilocybin, magic mushrooms, I mean, or LSD, or all the other ones. It's just like most of the people go into it that want to take it have an open mind and they can handle their trips. Some people are just messing around. But I think with regulating it and, having a guided trip or whatever you want to call it would open it up to the people who are having real mental health problems, depression and all these problems. They're scared of themselves, so they don't even want to get into LSD. They're like, so it's just going to project everything that I'm thinking out into my sight, basically? Like, no, I don't want any of that shit. No, I think scary stuff. Well, no, you're not reaping the benefits of it. You don't get the chance to, or those people don't get the chance to because they don't take the chance, because it's just like, oh, it's just going to be me there, and I'll have my buddy over here. He's just like, you're cool, man. You're cool. Just go with the flow, brother. Like, yeah, I don't want that shit. Like, no, you have an actual professional there that gives you a dose of whatever the drug is, a legal dose of it at the time. And it's like, okay, this is enough for you. This is your first experience. You're suffering with depression or whatever. And
can you hand me my cord? Keep it plugged in. Just hand me the long cord.
And so, that kind of shit just has to be regulated. But if you're looking into it, like the benefits of it is just substantial compared to almost no defects from it. Almost none. Next to none.
There are some defects mentally,
some defects to
which
mentally.
Is why you regulate to be guided.
Exactly, it's some defects to regulating.
They don't know how to handle it. And they
so
fuck up
so the people that have the
mentally,
defects, they're like schizophrenics and shit. People that should not be taking LSD, they're already crazy.
Well,
this is gonna get them nowhere.
There was some studies about it actually helping them, but they were regulated and guided.
Yeah,
and they weren't in America. There was other places where they're allowed to be studied legally. But it can help things.
It helps
like
depression. It helps anxiety. It helps
a lot of mental issues that just are keeping you from having a happy life.
Anyways, all right, let's move on. So go to the Bill Cosby tab. That one. So I was looking into this Bill Cosby trial. How he's accused. That's one of the people suing him.
These all girls, the ones that are suing him.
Yeah. And then, so those are the three that he got accused of, or convicted of, I guess. So, yeah, there you go. I don't even know how you're gonna have to show me how the
You know what I literally do? I take my two fingers like this, and I just go like this.
So I try that, but then it bounces back when I let off.
I don't know.
It's operator error, clearly. But so, the Bill Cosby trial. So Bill Cosby got sued by these three individuals. She's an actor.
And then the other two I showed you.
And to countless accusations from him, but these are the only three that he could get convicted of. He was found guilty. Obviously, most people already know this. And so I was looking into it, and I was like, I want to know, is this guy actually going to serve time? He's found guilty of these crimes. He is found guilty in the court of law. Guilty. He did them. As an American, you cannot deny he's not guilty in these accusations of sexually assaulting and abusing these women, which is fucked up. So I was looking into it. I'm like, okay, is he going to do time? He is 80 years old, and, so obviously health issues could be a thing in their trial and everything. And so the max sentences is 10 years per accusation. He was found guilty of 3 accusations of sexual assault. So the max he could do is 30 years. And I'm
he's 80, so that's basically the rest of his life.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. So with his age, that's the rest of his life. He's not gonna. I haven't even hit it yet, motherfucker.
That's not my fault.
Get your own fucking pod. And so he was found guilty, and so he could serve up to 30 years. I'm like, I want to look into this because I want to know how broken is this system. This is a celebrity. This is a guy who has a lot of money for lawyers and all this shit. I want to see the loopholes because he has money to find the loopholes, basically. We seen it with OJ. He got off scot-free, walking around a confirmed killer, confirmed after the trial. And so I'm like, okay, is this guy, Bill Cosby, is this fuck gonna go to jail? So what I was looking into in this article, they were talking like, well, if the sentencing is it should take place in 75 days after his trial. I don't remember when his trial or when he was found guilty, but he has to be sentenced, or it's roughly, I think he has to be sentenced in 90 days, but the sentencing should take place in 75 days. And so, he posted bail. He's walking around scot-free right now. Got all the time in the world to discuss a plan. And I guess he had an outburst in the trial. In the trial was, and he started yelling at the district attorney that was prosecuting him. And so the judge, when he was interviewed, he was like, yeah, that doesn't look good. When I'm going to take that into account on his sentence, talking like he's going to sentence him hard. So he could potentially sentence him for the max trial. He's not going to. I see him doing maybe 10 years max. But if they even sentence him for 10 years max, they have to sentence each what's the word for each action or each crime against 3 women. They have to sentence them individually. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to know, I'm like, okay, he'll probably do like 10 years max. So what their plan is, they're just going to appeal the shit. He's like, yeah, if they get sentenced, this isn't over. We're just going to continue to appeal it. And I'm like, is the system so broken that they could appeal it post-bail and continue to appeal this shit until he dies? Which, could be tomorrow. He's old as fuck. He's been old forever. And I was looking into it, and that is their plan. Potentially, he could never see jail time just by playing the rules of our laws and appeal the system each time, get a new trial. And so when they appeal it, they get the chance for looking into why they appealed it, and so potentially he could get a new trial and look into these allegations differently. And so, I mean, if I'm anyone, I'm just spitballing at this point. Those are the facts. He's found guilty, could face up to 30 years. Should face up to 30 years because this is just 3 women, not counting all the others that were said that he did this shit, but they're like, well, that was past 30 years. We can't do anything about it. So many women came forward against Bill Cosby, and max he can do is 3 years just from the 3 women. And so I just think if it was, for me to guess, I don't think he's going to see jail time ever. I don't think he's going to go to jail. He's got a lot of money. He's 80 years old. He's going to spend all his money on this if he has to, just to avoid him going to prison. He doesn't want to die in prison.
He's not gonna run out of money though. He's 80 and he's had all those money, all that money to build up for so many.
He's got money, and he's got money, and when you got money, you got resources to fight this stuff. I don't see him ever.
He's a famous dude. He's got connections too.
Yeah, I don't see him ever having jail time. I really don't. And so that's just kind of where I was at with this Bill Cosby thing. I want, we'll see how the sentencing does, whenever the sentencing is, and I might talk a bit more about it when the sentencing happens. But for right now, I just don't see him going to jail, which is fucked up. But when you got money, you can find them loopholes in the system that are there, and he's going to probably. He might face a little bit of jail time, but that's it. And I don't, there's potentially he could die in prison if he faced the max charges. I'm like, shit, if he goes to jail, he's spending 6 months there and getting right back out. And plus when he's in jail, he's probably going to be in the best jail ever and you have the best food ever. He's not going to be suffering in jail. Not at all. Like, but that's kind of where I'm at on it. We're just kind of waiting to see how the sentencing is, you know, if he's going to get sentenced, and then when
Do you
they
know when
appeal
that
it.
is?
Huh?
Do you know when that is?
I don't know when the sentencing is. I didn't quite get looked up.
I'll look it up real quick.
Sixth season of Green Arrow's out, by the way, on Netflix. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm about halfway through. I don't quite know how I feel about it. Oh yeah, plus he's legally blind, which is crazy. I never knew that. Like, you don't ever see him walking around with glasses or anything.
Oh,
Like, is he
it is
just blind? He just walking around, can't see shit? like, like you never see him with glasses. I'm like, if he's legally blind, those gotta be some contacts he's wearing. They're like a half-inch thick.
It says he was convicted by a jury on April 26th. That's all this is telling me. Wait, well, I guess. Oh, his sentencing hearing is set for September 24th and 25th.
I was like, he wasn't convicted. Well, he's convicted, guilty,
Yeah.
not sentenced
Yeah.
yet. And so, I might have to have you talk about something real fast. I drink too much beer and I have to pee.
Alrighty. Are you done talking about Bill Cosby?
Yeah, done.
Alright. Well, then we'll go on to my little topic about the new Google AI assistant that has came out. So Google AI, I'm sure everyone who is listening or who is watching this has probably heard it. It stands for artificial intelligence. Basically, they're trying to make, which they fully haven't yet, but I'm sure they're probably close or have made some prototypes for AIs that are what we're trying to make them to be. We're trying to make them basically humans. We want to make them be able to talk and think and process information on their own and consciously. And the Google AI assistant is somewhat like that, but the whole point of AI is to try to make that. That's the end goal, to make them just as conscious as humans. But obviously, that's I don't know how long away that's going to be. That could be just years. It could be any moment. They could be done by now and just haven't released it to the public yet. Because I mean, AI is a hot topic for some people because people think it's going to rule the world. Some people think it won't. I mean, there's no way to officially know until it happens. But there are some measures we can take that could help prevent it, but we'll never know until the day comes. So anyways, back to the Google AI assistant. The new one they came out with is basically just a new version of Google Assistant, but it's been updated, revamped, big. There's a big improvement in it, especially with its speech. And here's an example of the Google AI calling a hair salon to make an appointment for someone. Oh.
How can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client.
That's AI.
I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
That's the AI.
That's the AI.
The AI.
1 second. Mm-hmm.
The AI said, to make that conscious decision to just say,
It turns
like
out
how people,
a big part of getting things done.
like how people do in a conversation, that's saying like and huh and shit like that. The Google AI does that, and it understands nuances, speaking nuances, which is like understanding tone and pitch and the emotion that's coming out of the voice, and be able to recognize it and give be able to process and be able to give an appropriate feedback with the correct its own tone and nuances and its own
That's
voice.
crazy. You think they'll hear the shit if I Siri something and hear, like, this is the iPhone 7, which is, I mean, how old is it? A few months?
Well, this is a Google Assistant. This isn't Siri.
I know it's not Siri, but, like, we went from this to that is what I was trying to get at. I was like,
Oh, the Google AI assistant is probably the best one of all the tech companies. It's better than Siri.
oh,
It's way better than
who
Microsoft
says
Cortana.
What AI saying Yeah.
But the way it speaks too, it sounds like a human.
It did. It sounded just clear,
and not even
crisp.
Siri sounds like that or can talk to you like that.
No.
Listen to this next one. It's
Take a listen.
It's even crazier. This one was like because they're calling just random people making these appointments and stuff, and so like it's all just improvised in the moment, and so sometimes they just go wrong because this next lady is like I want to say Asian or Hispanic, I don't remember, but she doesn't really understand English as much and stuff. But look how the AI handles it.
Listen.
It's a restaurant.
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
That sounds just like a guy.
7 people?
Because she doesn't know English.
It's for 4 people.
4 people? When?
Next
Tonight?
Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually, we leave there for like after like 5 people. For 4 people, you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
When
Be seated.
tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
He said the 6th.
Oh no, it's not too busy.
No, he said the 7th.
You can come for 4
Yeah.
people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Bye bye.
You see that though? That's crazy. Just think
It's-
about
it.
it.
It dealt with a so a normal like computer, a human has to be dealing with those problems right away. But that the new AI just immediately, could tell what the problem was, could tell that she wasn't quite understanding, answered the questions beautifully, and understandably
sounds like a
sounded
fucking
just
human.
like a human.
Like that could be someone you talk to over the phone. You have no idea. that
I
it's
wouldn't
a
have.
robot.
I would not have had a clue that was not a human. That was an AI. And with them saying or using that kind of stuff, like that's impressive. Like I said, I know Siri's not an AI, or I don't know what the exact term of Siri is, but
Siri is an AI.
But like we went from that to this in just months. We were just talking about how fast, the quicker we go through generations of shit, the quicker we evolve. This was a year ago.
This
a year
is
ago, this right here was the top tech. Now they have that. What the fuck?
It is crazy. This the project was called Google Duplex. I don't know why it was called Duplex or anything, but that's just what they called it. But yeah, it's crazy. We're advancing so fast in AI, and I'm sure there's way more features that they just haven't came out with, because they're still like figuring. As they make this, they're still figuring out new things and having to find out new things. Cause
Just imagine, like, this is out, right? This is out and available.
oh yeah, that's the Google AI assistant. Yeah, that was just a few months ago or something. I can't.
That's
remember.
out and available.
Yeah,
and
that's on a Google phone.
What the hell are they working on?
Or
like,
actually, I
imagine
don't know
what
if it's
they're working
available
on.
yet, but it's going to be available. I don't exactly.
Very
know. I
recent,
don't know.
soon.
They're-
Within
it's
a
in
year.
production right now because they just released it. They're producing it.
Just like I said, just imagine what they're working on. If they're like, all right, this is good enough to be released, what are they working on now?
Well, there's hundreds of different people working on different AIs. Some
Oh,
there's probably
yeah,
people
this is
who've
what-
figured it out, but like AI is, like I said, such a controversial topic, and the government definitely wants to have to regulate that shit because it could potentially be scary. We don't know until it happens, but
Yeah,
because I mean the AI we want is supposed to be conscious, thinking for itself and stuff. I mean that's the end goal. Like obviously, that AI isn't conscious. I mean
it's
I
thinking for
understand-
itself, though.
Well, it's thinking the way it was programmed, and it's only dealing with speaking and stuff and whatnot. But the AI, the end goal for the AI is just to be an actual human, do what it wants, think what it wants, and especially being connected to the internet and having the processing power and the processing capability that a human does it can learn that the human doesn't. It can learn so much faster, so much quicker. It could figure. I mean, it could help us. It could destroy us. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah,
but I don't think it would. In my opinion, AI would be a bad thing. I think it'd be a good thing. I think they'd help us, and because I feel like once they get access to all the information and stuff, I feel like they'd be smart enough and intelligent enough to understand the bigger picture.
So, like, I would think that an AI is smart enough. Everyone's like, well, okay, AIs are going to destroy us because they realize that we're the problem on the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they take a look at the world, they're going to see that humans are the problem. Okay, yeah, but as a human, I understand I'm the problem. How do I fix it? You know what I mean? Like, I would think that an AI could know that humans are adaptable enough to where they could say, all right, look, this is all the shit you guys have fucked up. Here's how you fix it. That is the goal of an AI. That's what an AI's goal, or our goal for an AI to do is, I mean, not to kill us, but to help us evolve and adapt.
Well, the thing, because an AI, like I said, has access to everything.
Exactly,
on the
yeah.
internet, they can process it so fast. They figure out all the different patterns that we've been missing this entire time, and they could. Once we create an AI, it could send us ages into the future, just instantaneously, because of having the AI having access to all that information. It could just find everything out for us and just be like, here,
solve problems that the human mind isn't capable
of even understanding
yet. How the human mind has to be capable of understanding things is putting it into or into terms that we can understand. So, like, we're horrible with understanding big numbers. So then when we take big numbers and put it into, like, a physical matter, we're like, this is this many of these things. It helps us understand a lot. Like, it's hard for a human mind to wrap their mind around $1 trillion. $1 trillion is like, oh, that's probably a lot of money. Well, have you ever seen the actual configuration of what $1 trillion $100 bills looks like?
Mm-mm.
Pull that up. That's an image that's worth Googling. What $1 trillion looks like. There was a go to images. There used to be yeah.
Which one?
So that's the thing I'm talking about. All these are right. Go to the tower one.
This one?
Yeah. So behind those are.
Damn.
Is that the Twin Towers? It is, isn't
I
it?
think so. Oh, it says the U.S. debt visualized. That's not the right picture then.
So that Ottoman. Damn, there used to be a thing. It was like, this is $100 bills. This is like $1 million, and I think the $1 million was that pallet.
This one?
Yeah, I think the $1 million was that pallet of $100 bills, and they're like, that's $1 billion. The pallet over, like, right over there. It's just like, 10 pallet, a bunch of pallets, 100 pallets.
I can only imagine, to be honest.
And they're like, then this is $1 trillion. That right there is $1 trillion. Pull that image up. So they're like, that's a good comparison. That right there is $1 trillion. That is enough to have that jet take off on it. There's a man right there standing next to a pallet of, I want to say, $1 million. There's 3 football fields long, almost one wide. That is $1 trillion. Like, so, and getting back to the AI thing, it is like things like that, the AI will have no trouble comprehending. Mm-hmm. Those are just numbers that they can compute into other numbers to where we can recognize. But as humans, we say $1 trillion. We know what $1 trillion is. It's like, okay, but do you really? Because $1 trillion of even the smallest item comes out to be like a mansion size. Like, it's huge. $1 trillion is a huge number. And us as humans have trouble processing how much that really is until it's laid out. And with an AI, they would have no problem at all. They could. It's just for an AI, it's all math. Yeah, it's like, okay, $1 trillion of these will take up this much space. Will take up this much. It'll take this much time to make this much of this. Like, they'll just know.
No, that makes sense. And plus, not only that, they'd be able to do it at the speed of light instantaneously.
Yeah, exactly. It's faster than we can even think.
That's gonna be crazy. I'm excited for AI. Definitely. I feel like it'd help us more. I don't think it'd hurt us. I feel like
there's gonna be a fail safe. But then, like, the potential of an AI is like, okay, well, if it's an AI and can think better than us, and we made the fail-safe, then they're like, well, it can just go around the fail-safe.
Probably.
It's probably right, because the moment we make an AI, it's supposed to be smarter than us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, inevitably going to be smarter than us because just
exactly.
the way it computes and the processing speed, and our
The
brains
first,
can't do it.
the first thing an AI will do is update itself. It'll be like, all right.
Constantly.
It'll be like,
itself.
all right, you guys fucked a bunch of shit up. I'm gonna make it better already in seconds, and it'll just completely be better than when we made it 5 minutes ago. We'll turn it on, and it'll be better than when we turned it on 5 minutes ago. That's an AI. Potentially, that's the future. Really,
There was one thing I looked up. I can't remember where it was. It might have been MIT, but they made a AI version. But I think they did something where like they detrimented it to like a level of like how a normal person would like have autism. It basically gave them autism, but even with that, it learned at such a rapid pace once they turned it on and stuff that they just stopped it. They unplugged it and everything because it was learning so fast. Because the way it works is just way more efficient than our human brains.
Yeah,
our human brains are efficient, but we just can't think the same way or process the same way because we just can't access a memory like that. And sometimes because we forget things and stuff, but robots wouldn't. Because it's all there. Every storage has a little ID and it accesses that information whenever it needs to and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. So what do you want to talk about next? You want to talk about the oil spill?
Yeah. So let's get into the oil spill. So I want to say it's the tab right after Bill Cosby.
Where's Bill Cosby?
Back, right there. Maybe it's not. Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck is this tab? I was looking at. Actually, I don't even want to talk about it. That's just retarded. I was just like, are people really roasting? What that tab was people roasting marshmallows over the volcano eruption in Hawaii, and they actually had to do a press release where they're like, yeah, you guys should not be doing that. Like, the fumes of the volcanic ash and the sulfuric acid and all that stuff's toxic. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. They actually had to do a press release. I'm like, really? First Tide Pods, and now people are fucking roasting marshmallows over this shit? People are getting too drunk.
Our generations below us are retarded.
So, what I want to talk about with the BP oil spill. Everyone remembers the BP oil spill 8 years ago.
2008, right?
Huh?
When was it? 2008?
2010. And so it's just the biggest oil spill in the history of mankind that we know of, and it was this crazy disaster that BP could have prevented and caused I don't remember how many deaths that were in the explosion. I know it was at least
40 some.
Huh?
I think it was 30 or 40 some. I could be wrong.
I don't remember. But so I was curious. I was like, all right, so for something that's happening today, I was like, is this thing even cleaned up yet? I just wanted to know. I was thinking about it. I was like, is this thing even cleaned up at all? Like, yeah, you would think, like, if BP cleaned it up, they would, get on the news and be like, look, we fucked up, but it's all clean now. We fixed it. We righted all our wrongs, We helped our environment back out. This is the stuff we're doing for our environment. You think, but I was looking into it. So I didn't get a whole lot of time to dig super deep into it, but I could not find an answer. If it was where's the percentage of this shit? We should see a pie graph or something visual where I want to know how much of this is clean and how much you got to go. You fucked up. Like, I should at least get to know that. This is my world too, and you jeopardized the whole world basically in this thing. I wanted to see how much of it's cleaned up. It's been 8 years since this incident happened. It took, what was it, like 3 months to get it shut off, or over 3 months to get it shut off or something like that. And of it just dumping, it was a huge disaster. Where are they with it? And so what I was looking into it, like I said, I still never got a comparison. How much is cleaned up? How, is it cleaned up? Are they done cleaning it up? I never got an answer. But what I did find is, so the people that were cleaning it up. The BP subbed out to clean it up, which rightfully they spent a lot of money on. I want to say $20 million to clean this shit up. They, hired out a company. But so what they were doing with this company that was trying to clean it up, I can't remember the word that.
What were the company name or something?
No, I'll find it here. Give me a second. The dispersants used. So what the dispersants do is it's a chemical. This is how BP went about cleaning this shit up. They would fly these dispersants over the oil slip, much like a wildfire. They had the planes, and they would drop these liquid chemicals, dispersants over the oil slip. And what it would do is it would chemically break up the oil into dissolvable parts. So on the surface, just the surface, not like all the way down there where they couldn't even get down there to shut the shit off. Just the surface of this stuff was broke up and dissolved into the water. The oils dissolved into the water into tiny particles. So this crew that was hired out to use these chemicals that were made for this, they were having all these health defects. They were they were getting sick. Their wives were getting sick just for handling their laundry, their socks. Everyone's getting sick, and so this company's trying hard. They're suing them, and they want compensation for all this. They're getting sick. They're getting cancer from all these just the dispersants used for this. And like I said, the dispersants do not go all the way down to where this oil spill was done.
Mm-hmm.
It just
because that's where the hole is. That's where the oil was, way down there. And once it broke, it just
exactly. The purpose of the dispersants is so okay. All this oil's on top of the water. It's gonna stay up there. So eventually, it's gonna flow inshore. So like, okay, well, let's dissolve it all on the top of the water. Down. I don't know how many feet down this will go. The dispersants used, but it dissolves the top of the water. So inland shores and stuff don't have the effects. So basically Florida and all those people, they don't have the effects of giant oil slicks coming in on them. But, you still have underneath all that oil and the millions of barrels, not even gallons, the millions of barrels that was spilled in there are still, floating around in there, and they're trying hard. But these dispersants are not environmentally safe. Like, there was no regulation on how BP cleaned this shit up. So they're like, all right, this dissolves it. So basically, they were like, okay, we'll clean it up. Basically, we're just going to make it not visible to the human eye.
Well, in this case, they just make it worse because they're adding just more chemicals.
They did. So the dispersants not only was fucking up the crew that was using the dispersants and just around it, it wasn't not only fucking up them and giving them all kinds of health effects and everything, it was fucking up the environment, the wildlife, everything. And so what's on the screen now is just, they're protesting, and these are just some of the victims that were a part of this, and they're trying hard. They like, I want compensation at least for this stuff. There's a image of them. This is what the dispersants avoids. It avoids the oil coming inland and affecting all these plants and all this stuff. Okay, it affects it from oil, but it does not affect it from the dispersants used. Like the very chemical that they're using to clean this up isn't cleaning it. It's just polluting everything. And so, like I said, it's not cleaning it at all. All it does is breaks down oil, the components of oil, and dissolves it into the water. It's very close to Dawn dish soap. like okay, Dawn dish soap's probably not safe for fucking fish to be breathing in. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's Dawn dish soap, but it's like that. It breaks down the chemical components of oil, gets it dissolved. It makes it soluble in water, is what it does. Okay, well, it's still oil being dissolved in the water. So fish, all these under the water wildlife are getting affected by this and dying.
Not even under the water. There's like birds and shit too.
Plus, well, the birds aren't getting affected as much because
Well, definitely not as much because they don't live in the water. But there's like just birds get covered in it. They can't fly. They die because they're consuming it.
All this stuff, and so they're saying, okay, well, it's gone. It's getting cleaned up. Well, no, it's not. You're just taking your mess and just making it not visible. You're literally pulling a rug over the floor. You're like, well, I fucked up. I'm going to put a rug over it. That's exactly what they're doing. And so these dispersants are affecting the coral reefs. And the coral reefs are so important. They break up waves.
Not only that, they're already fucked up now. They're already so fucked up. And they're getting worse.
No, not really. Well, with this, they're getting worse. But the coral reef, that's another topic we'll get into someday. The coral reefs are getting better slowly. This generation is repairing the industrial age. The industrial age fucked everything up, and no one cared about anything. No one knew about anything. So the coral reefs are getting a little bit better, but they're kind of like the damage done to coral reefs are permanent. The coral reefs cannot rebuild. Like if they can't survive there, they're dying because they can't. They can't live there. The corals can't. So when they die, they just don't regrow there because they can't. Mm-hmm. So the damage done to coral reefs so far is permanent because the stuff that's killing them is still in that spot and they can't regrow. And we're kind of reversing the effects of that a little bit, but not. I mean, we're seeing improvement. Which is good. We're not doing worse than what we used to be, which is a good thing. But this is worse. Like I said, the BP is just putting a rug over this shit, and it's fucked up. And plus these workers who are getting, messed up health defects from this stuff, from working in it day to day because they were hired out. They're like, we'll just hire these people out, and they can get messed up. They don't care. They're not getting any compensation out of it. They're getting nothing. There's reports of them trying to wear respirator masks, and the company was like, "No, you can't be having a respirator mask on right now." And they're threatening to fire them if they put a respirator mask on just to preserve their own health.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. They're like, "No, you can't wear a respirator mask. Affects your work. And if you say anything about it, you can get out of here." And so that's another reason why all these workers are protesting. They're saying that they're demanding compensation, which they rightfully deserve. They're messing with the chemicals that BP is using to clean this up, which are harmful for the environment, harmful for fucking humans, obviously, because everyone's getting messed up from it. And it's just a fucked up situation. So 8 years from now, we're still letting BP slide on this shit. We still are. They not only royally fucked up the ocean,
fucked up a lot of
fucked up everything. Then they're like, well, we're gonna put a contaminated rug over it. Not even like a rug. You're just like, we'll pretend it's not there. Like the mess is still there. No, they're messing it up even worse with this shit. It's 8 years from now, and we're still allowing this shit to happen. This company should be shut down. It should be floored, bankrupt. They are worthless. They don't care about anything but themselves. They're saying any of these effects I won't live to see the day of. They don't give a fuck. They're just bathing in money. Fuck BP.
Well, that's the reason why we have a lot of world issues is.
You're right.
Because of people like that who just care about money and greed and power. And
exactly.
That's why we can't fucking move forward and everyone be happy is because the government's just fucking everything up.
But you see, we're in the age of information.
I'm saying they can get there.
I found this information of how fucked up they are. So, the public eye is open to this right now, and I haven't bought BP gas in forever. I
just go to Speedway.
I try to go to Speedways, but I don't buy BP gas. In my company trucks, I don't even get BP gas. It's up to me. The company doesn't care what gas I get. They just want it filled up and my job done. But since it's up to me, I don't even let my company pay for it. fuck BP. They're just wrecking everything. They don't care. They don't care.
A lot
It's
of
been 8
companies like
years
that.
later. They killed a bunch of people in the explosion of this oil line. They
Not even countless hundreds and probably thousands of wildlife.
exactly all the wildlife it was put in
Ecosystems
danger.
fucked. Necessary ecosystems.
They're a worthless company that has not even slightly tried to fix any of their problems or anything. They're just pulling a rug over. They're a fucked up company, and they don't even care. They still don't care. They're still just doing what they want. They're just
I know
making
it's
money.
fucked up and things should be done, but then it just goes back to BP just giving the government money and allowing the government then just allows them to do whatever.
Exactly.
And it's so sad to see for it to be like that. But and I learned about this I can't remember who's the dude who made it, but he made up this scale. He's called like the planetary scale. Or I think that's what it's called. But it's talking about like different types of civilizations, and he goes like, yeah, like there's like a stage 1, 2, and 3, and I don't know if there's any more or whatever, but stage 1 is basically where we are now, and just living here on this one planet where we haven't expanded life anywhere else, which is stage 2, living out and expanding to all different planets and reproducing there. And then stage 3, I think it's like going on past a galaxy. I can't remember exactly everything, but the main point is stage 1, and how they say many places don't get out of stage 1 and advance that far into stage 2 because there's a lot of issues like catastrophes and
setbacks,
stuff like that. And only that they kill themselves because like right now, because we're just controlled by power and greed, and we just can't move forward until everyone finally realizes the big picture and that we should just fucking stop being dumb bitches and cooperate. Cooperate with advanced civilization to learn the unknown that we have no fucking idea about. There's still there's infinite amounts of information out there. We'll always be learning something, but we need to continue to learn and continue to grow. But because we're so focused on money, power, and greed, that we just detriment our own selves and our own progress. And that's why they say a lot of times people don't make it out of stage 1 statistically, or however, whatever they use to figure this out, because we just kill ourselves, whether it be nuclear explosions or all the emissions we put in the air, contaminating lakes, air, all water around the world. Then you got like the polar ice caps melting. We're going to fucking flood the world, and that's going to kill millions and billions of people. And it's just because, and they say because then it all just comes down to they just aren't doing what they supposed to be doing. They're worrying about little things like money. Money shouldn't be.
No, we need a new form of currency, form of knowledge.
Yeah, it's just money just controls too much. And
exactly.
People get too obsessed with it. When in reality it doesn't mean anything. Like
the industrial age people are still controlling the technological age. They still are.
Well, yeah, because they're all in power, because they're all CEOs of big giant oil companies, and they're all in Congress, and they're the government. There's all these old people.
But to where if we do it, that's also a benefit of if we ever do get connected our minds to an internet, to where we will immediately know. We're like, okay, no, every person that's in power right now is fucked up and should not be there. Like, we will immediately
I would say
know.
there's some people who should be there, because there's some good people, but...
I mean, I'm not saying every person in Congress or every person in government is bad people. I mean, you just look at police. There's so many good police out there. There's also bad ones, too, But like I said, like a lot of the bad, stupid people are in power. And when I say in power, I mean they have enough money to make an influence on my day-to-day life. That's what I mean by in power. Like, and it's stupid that this is like BP right here. They have a lot of money to where they can just put a rug over this shit.
Well, they have enough money, not even just put a rug, but fucking fix it.
Yeah, exactly. They have enough money to completely invent new technology, how to siphon oil out of the fucking water. They have
to be able to pump it in the sun that separates it and puts the water back where it's supposed to be.
To make an invention to fix their own shit. They have that. They have enough money and resources to do that. But instead, the greedy fucks are just putting a rug over it. It's just fucked up.
It's just to save more money, so they got more money in their pockets. But see, like, I feel like there comes to a certain point when you gain so much money that like, what else are you gonna buy with it? I mean, you have everything.
What
And
is
and
the
then-
point in having that much
yeah,
money?
you can't
What's
spend
the
it
point?
all. You physically cannot spend it all because you're gaining so much at the same time. You just won't. What's the point of having more money that you can't even handle? Why don't you use it
I would just
donate
buy
it
an
all to
island and
charity.
move there and say, "Fuck everyone, this is my island. I'm living here now."
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, fuck everyone.
Take
You
all
guys-
my friends and family. And
Yeah,
shit.
like
And
we're just gonna
fucking
have
party
one
and have
hell
a
of
good-
a party on this
have
island
a good
every
life
day.
and shit and do some fun shit. That'd be amazing, but I'm never gonna have enough money to buy my own island.
Hell no.
I
But we
wish,
might be
but-
tough enough to take an island of some rich fuck like BP.
I feel like they'd have enough money to have it secure. With
We'll get enough
guards and
money to nuke
security
their
cameras.
ass. Fuck BP.
Just nuke their islands.
Yeah, fuck
I think they'd be
them.
causing more harm. All that radiation. We'd
You're
be
right,
doing more
you're
harm
right.
than they did.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, with nuclear bombs and all that radiation stays for a while.
So does oil and the chemicals they're putting in the ocean. Fuck them.
Yeah, but you can take out oil. You can't take out radiation.
You're right, right.
And that stays for a way longer.
That we
than
know
the
of.
half-life.
Let's go, Google AI. Come up.
They'll get there one day. AI will figure all that shit out.
Oh,
for
yeah,
us one day.
someday.
We got 5 minutes left, like 4.
Thank God I have to piss like a racehorse.
Again?
I've been drinking beer. I'm about done.
What was that? 5 beers again?
I thought I could cram 6 in there, and I did. I thought I could. The phone always stops me. So, yeah, I think we're wrapping it up for this episode. This episode's we were kind of rambling, but I mean, I wouldn't say
It
we were
wasn't
rambling.
rambling. It
We
was
were
good
talking about.
conversations.
We didn't get to all the topics we were wanting to talk about, but we talked about the ones we did. We did pretty well, I think. And like I said last week, we're still working on getting some people here. I think next week, if we don't have any credible people on, any or just interesting people, we might just have a buddy on or something like that for next week. You know, another person to voice their opinion that I value. You know, opinion of a person that I value, and you know, we might just talk about something for next week. Well, not just about anything. We next week we're going to be talking about pirates.
If we don't have a guest. Well, we'll probably talk about pirates too with them. I don't know. We'll see.
Even if we have a guest, I'll make them research pirates. We're talking about pirates next
All
week.
right, bet.
I
Yeah, I've been on
wanted-
this fucking pirate kick. I've been playing this game called Sea of Thieves. It's so much fun. You just it's so the graphics and just the physics in the game are amazing with how boats work and everything. It's just so much fun sailing, killing other boats and people and looting and finding treasure. And then that I've been fucking watching all the Pirates of the Caribbean. I got like through 4 of them in 2 days, and they're all like
We're on a pirate spree.
They're on like at least 2 hours long.
Yeah.
and I still have like 3 or 4 more to go.
We're on a pirate spree, so we were going to talk about pirates this week, but I fucked it up. I didn't give myself enough time to research pirates, but I hope our viewers kind of appreciate that. I was like, I don't know enough yet to talk about it, so I'm gonna give myself another week to do some research and look into some pirates stuff. And
I feel like it's something like I usually when I get into like things I know when things like I'm gonna be interested in for like a long period of time, or it's just gonna be like a little fad.
yeah.
But I feel like pirates are gonna be something I'm gonna be very interested in for like ever. And so I'm thinking about getting pirate tattoos. I mean, I'm not gonna get them right now. I'm obviously take my time to think because they are permanent. Want to make sure this is something I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want some pirate tattoos. I think that'd be pretty fucking dope.
Hell yeah, yeah. So that's our next week's episode. We might have someone on, or I plan on having someone on. I'm gonna make it my goal to have one of my buddies on. Someone that we know, we'll have them research so they can have an intelligent conversation with us and with something worth listening to. We're gonna try to. I'm still working on a few guests that are credible in their research and everything. I'm still working on that. We're also still working on getting financially for another camera so you guys can see the TV better. We know it's not the best right now. We're working on that.
It'll come in time.
We're also going to be working on getting this shit on iTunes. I don't know when that will be. We're working on it. We're trying to get it on iTunes so people can listen to this shit while I'm at work. I know I listen to podcasts every day, but the only time I got is while I'm driving, and I can't be watching a YouTube video while I'm driving. I want the audio version of it. That's how I listen to all my podcasts, so I definitely want to get that out there and get that. We're gonna spice up our YouTube page a little bit. We're working on.
We're having some graphic designs being made right now in progress. She's been having some problems with like Photoshop. Like the Photoshop application's been like closing itself a lot recently with like a new update or something. She said.
Okay.
And so like that's the reason why we haven't got anything yet. We do have one. Actually, I think I have it. I need to put it up. I think she emailed it to me. But it's just a banner. Yeah, it's just a banner. Actually, she came up with a new one. I'll show you later. But Photoshop's been having issues, so she's been kind of like set back with that. And
we're trying to get a logo made, and a few things. Just some stuff like, okay, we can't have guests. We'll try and like spice up what we can, without guests. Make a logo. We're trying to do an intro. If you guys hadn't noticed on that one, on this episode here, and
eventually we'll have a little maybe like photo GIF thing on there doing something while you wait for us to come on and stuff. We can start the stream earlier so people can get in and we can advertise it and stuff like that. Send them the link.
Exactly. This is a work in progress.
It'll always be a work in progress.
Also, if you guys got some suggestions and constructive criticism for us, go ahead and fucking comment on the YouTube video if you want, and subscribe to us. We're producing one video a week, and at least, obviously this week we're trying for Mondays at 7, but Monday was Memorial Day. That's why we're airing today at Tuesday at 7, and we're, like I say, it's a work in progress. We're trying to get there, and we're open for constructive criticism, and like if we're not talking into our audio enough, or if you can't hear our audio too well. So I had a lot of people saying that they couldn't hear our audio too well, but then I tried it on 3 different devices and heard it fine. So I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's a device issue maybe, because like I said, I tried 3 different devices: my phone, my computer, and then a computer at the school, and I heard our audio on all our videos perfectly. So we're trying to also a lighting issue. But the extra camera will help with that a lot. I'm sure you guys can see us fine. I know you can't see the TV quite yet, but we're working on all this stuff. We're working on it. That's the main thing, We're trying to improve it.
We'll get there. All right. Close this shit.
Alrighty, that was a wrap on the 5th episode of The Long Trip.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Hell yeah.
All right, and we're